Hey folks, I'm Lauren Riddick again, back with our Homes and Loans podcast, making a positive difference through collaboration, and I am over the moon excited about this one. This is my baby girl, Lucy Harper Riddick. How are you doing, Miss Riddick?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing fine. I'm glad you're here, baby. Listen, it is such an honor to be here with my daughter. She's an amazing young lady, and we've had many different people, a lot of people you know, but our goal is to motivate and inspire and just share a story. And this is going to be kind of cool because, Lucy, what we do is it's always the same. We have 3 segments. The first segment is taking you back to your childhood, whether that's, if you want to talk about making chalk sandwiches and eating them or whatever, but something that maybe sticks with you. Hey, I saw mom and dad working really hard, or I won't put words in your mouth, but something that sticks with you that you think you'll take with you and pass on to your youngins, a fond memory. Second segment is for business, like, in this case for you, it would be, your school, being a student, being a cheerleader, being an entrepreneur. I know you're going into nursing now, so all that cool stuff. And then how folks may be able to reach you if you're still doing whatever, right? And then the last segment is, how you get through adversity. And I'll ask you the $1 million question I always ask everybody is, if you could have coffee with a historical figure, who would it be and what would you talk about? So you got some time to think about that.
Okay.
Thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me.
You're welcome, baby. What comes to mind when you think about the childhood? I know we talking about some Santa Claus stuff last night, so.
Like y'all said, just working really hard. I know a lot of times it was just like mama home with me, and like I saw her work hard like at home and just like keeping the house straight and making sure she did what she does with like real estate, and then working like at the dental office. And then you always you made it to a lot of my events, but like sometimes you wouldn't be able to be there because you'd be working hard and providing for us the way you do. And I just think it's important to have both, and I'm very grateful for both. I know, like you said, you used to always come and sing to me to get me go to sleep when I was little.
What song was that?
Edelweiss from The Sound of Music. But
I enjoyed doing that, baby. And there would be some times where I was so tired.
Yeah.
I was so tired, and Daddy, come sing to me. And I knew every time, no matter what, there would come a time where you didn't want me to sing to you anymore like that.
Yeah.
So I slip one in every now and then, folks. But, that's good. So you see the balance of your parents and stuff. Well, if you go back even further, like what are some of the memories you might remember, or any words of wisdom, or anything that sticks out, any flash in your mind that comes to mind when you think about when you were little?
Y'all still always used to be super bossy and headstrong and.
Said that you were?
Yeah.
Oh, so if your mom,
headstrong.
Well, if your mom was here, I think Missy would say there was a time where you wanted to run away. Joe, she wanted to run away from home, and Missy was like, "Okay, well, let me get you some stuff together," and she packed you like a little snack, little pouch. And you went outside, and you weren't but probably 3 years old, 3 or 4. And you went outside, and she walked down the sidewalk and walked to the end of our driveway, and she looked left, and she looked right, and she looked left, and she looked right. She didn't know where to go. And so you came back to the front porch, and of course, we're watching you the whole time. Mom's watching you out the front door, and I'm watching you out the dining room window. And Missy's like, she's coming back. Now I'm going to go outside and just act like I don't see her. So your mom walked back out like she's putting a plant out or something. And she goes, "Oh, Lucy." And you started crying. "I don't know which way to go." I'm glad you didn't, baby, because I think you would have went if you knew.
I think so, too. Yeah.
Do you, and of course you have 4 awesome grandparents.
Yeah.
4 awesome grandparents, and those grandparents were, my mom and dad, and Mama's mom and daddy. You want to talk about any fond memories you have of those days when you were little?
I just think it's cool to have both. So with you being white mom being black, I get to see like both sides. So I think it's awesome. Like
Understand where we're coming from.
Yeah. Grandmom, she's hilarious. His mom is hilarious. She makes all kind of jokes. And Peepaw's like real quiet and reserved, but it's just great to see like how they've worked together throughout the years and like how they have like such a good marriage and how they still love each other. That's awesome to see. And then Nana and Danda, my mom's parents, they just work super, super hard to provide for my mama and my two other uncles, and it's just wonderful to see that.
That's awesome. Get the best of both worlds, don't you, baby? So I remember, Tucker, your brother, always in sports, ripping and running, and there was a time that we were like, man, are you going to do some things? You've done some amazing things, not just scholastically, but for, athletically, and we'll get into that in the second segment. But, and I know you, of course, we try to do a good job of introducing you to our Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ, and who butters your bread. And I know that that's important to you, and you try to be a good light, which you are. When you're thinking about young day, do you remember any times, of course, we had great experience at Apostolic School when you were little. Any fun stories that you think of there that you'd want to say?
Oh gosh. So when we were little, I had to wait to get my ears pierced, different things like that. Because I did go to school there, which is fine. I understand that. But I brought this little fake makeup pad or something from Claire's into church, and they don't wear makeup.
That's a no-no there.
Yeah, and so I was putting that on, and my teacher tapped me over my shoulder, and it was in the middle of chapel, and I was so embarrassed. Yeah, I remember that.
But great times, great foundation.
Absolutely.
Made a lot of great friends. Some of you still friends with today.
Yeah.
And then Alcoa Elementary, Alcoa Middle School, Alcoa Intermediate. Now you're a senior at Alcoa. Maybe, and I know we're all big believers that ego is edging God out. We want no part of that. But giving Him the glory, why don't you share a little bit about some of the things that you've been into and what's going on? I know that you had, I'm getting ahead of myself. I'm excited. I'm getting ahead of myself for the second segment. Before we shut down, any words of wisdom, anything that you remember that either you heard from your mama or your daddy or your grandparents or maybe a teacher, something that sticks in your head that you still either try to duplicate or stay away from?
I would just say, always give your best and always take it to God. If you're worried about something, go to God first. And instead of going to other people, they're going to let you down because they're the same as you, just going to your source. That's something good I heard.
That's good stuff. Well, we'll be back with Miss Lucy Harper Riddick, my beautiful daughter. I love her very, very much. See you in a minute. Decided to bring to you our Homes and Loans podcast series. It's something near and dear to my heart. I know it's going to make a positive impact in your life and someone that you know and care about. I encourage you to share this series with anyone that fits that description. I had the vision of bringing together like-minded people that are positive, that are forced for good, not evil, in different industries, different arenas of business, whether it's educators, entrepreneurs, attorneys, CPAs, financial planners, real estate professionals, and of course, mortgage professionals and beyond. This is just an amazing series. It's going to make a difference. And the idea is that we bring these folks together so that you can enjoy it and get something out of it. And we have 3 basic segments as our format. The first segment is where someone's from. Where were they born, and maybe some childhood memories that they carry to this day. Number 2, their business, how you might be able to reach them, maybe some tips and tricks that gives you a glimpse behind the curtain in what they do that can help you. And of course, how you reach them. And the third, I'm really excited about because that's where the gold nuggets come in. Those nuggets that we all call on to get through adversity. We all face adversity. And we always ask the question, hey, how do you balance your professional and personal life? And we even ask a question, who would you have coffee with? Some historical figure. But the main crux of it is, how do we get through adversity? How do you look at the glass half full and not half empty? And so many other things. So we encourage you to share this. you can go to homesandloanspodcast.com. That's A-N-D spelled out, homesandloanspodcast.com. And you can see the whole series. Man, we hope you enjoy it. Share this with someone you care about. It's going to All right, back again with Lucy Riddick. Man, I'm so glad you're here, baby. And I had a great time talking. You know, you talked about Nan and Dan and Grandma and Peepaw, parents, my wife and I. And we didn't talk about your brother. We might want to throw something in about your brother. You probably remember a good memory about Tucker. What do you think of when you think about Tucker? Back from your little days.
Probably Couch World. So Tucker is like 11 years older than me. I was their surprise, and so obviously he taught me to be a little bit tougher because he was a little bit bigger, and not that he would roughhouse, but he was definitely a little bit stronger than me. So we play this game in our sunroom where he would like pick me up and sling me on the couch, and he basically played like defense, like it was basketball, and just to see like who could get to our kitchen the first.
Oh, I didn't even know that.
Yeah. And so if I got
Tucker
to
will
the
get
kitchen,
you, dude.
Yeah. Very rarely I get to the kitchen, but the times I didn't, he'd pick me up and slam me onto the couch and like put me underneath the cushions.
We had these big cushions on the back of the couch, so lifted up, and that was Couch World, and not enough to suffocate, but
yeah.
you know, your whole body would be in there. But oh, that's good stuff, baby. Well, you know, when we talked about, you know, good upbringing. Waiting for Santa Claus to come, Tooth Fairy, all that kind of good stuff, and you had a good balance to mom and daddy. Introduced you to two totally different ethnicities, white and black, and awesome grandparents, and going to apostolic and loving that. You were there for a few years since you were little. Aunt Martha, you know, but you don't remember being Aunt Martha. You was just such a baby. And then Alcoa.
Yeah.
So I guess, let's see, when did you start cheerleading? That's probably a good place to start.
I started in the 6th grade, and I had never done it before. I was extremely unathletic, didn't know how to do much of anything. So Mama had a friend that she used to cheer with, and she used to take me to Morristown to get lessons from her.
I think she was a Tennessee cheerleader, wasn't she? Yeah, she's big time SEC cheerleader.
Yeah. So I worked my way.
And how many days a week?
Gosh, I don't remember.
At least 2, right?
2, yeah.
So, bragging on Lucy's awesome mama, what you want to do for your children. She recognized that Lucy wanted to be a cheerleader. As Lucy said, you know, your brother was the athletic person, and we were going to his stuff, and you were coming along for the ride.
Yeah.
And, you know, business-minded and all that kind of stuff, wise beyond your years, and you wanted to be a cheerleader. So, Missy had a acquaintance from her hometown in Morristown, which was a top SEC cheerleader, and took Lucy up there for personal cheerleading training to be able to do that. And now, I don't know if you caught that, but that's once or twice a week, a 2-hour round trip each time. And but you did it. I mean, your mama helped you do that, but you put the work in.
I did.
And you've become now you're a 4-year letterman, captain of your cheerleading team. You are an All-American cheerleader, right? And that's just one of the main things. And I also remember your first entrepreneurial stuff was made by, was it Lucy's Crafty Creations? You want to talk about that? How old you were?
Oh gosh, was I 11?
I think so.
So I did like sugar scrubs, bath bombs, and like slime shops, and I sold it at our local block party, and that was super
We had the little
fun.
aprons and everything, didn't we?
Yeah.
And so I was very, very proud of that. And you did well, sold a lot there. And let's see, you also had your shirt line.
I did.
Let's talk about that a little bit.
So I've sold my shirts at like the holiday market at Alcoa High School. I did the block party one year and a couple other like venues.
And that was at what age?
I think I was 12 or maybe 13.
Okay.
But yeah.
Okay. And of course, you know, just you've done so many great things, baby. I don't know. I know you don't like talking about yourself, but again, to glorify the Lord, you know, what are the things that come to mind that you feel like you're proud of that you've been able to do, and what's on the horizon for you?
I think the thing I'm like most proud of is I've made it through high school without I feel like changing who I was. Obviously, I grew from being like a freshman to a senior and like having experiences and knowing how to like handle myself and how to treat others. But I feel like I've been true to myself and I haven't tried to change to fit into a certain crowd or anything like that. But my goal for like the future is to be a labor and delivery nurse. So my plan is to go to Pellissippi for 2 years to use my Tennessee Promise so I can get those years free and then transfer to ETSU to get my BSN. So I can help bring babies into the world.
That's awesome. That's awesome. And where does that come from? I mean, I know you. When did you know you liked working with little? Of course, you know, Mama. Your mom is the most amazing. I think she's the best on the planet. Pediatric dental hygienist. Awesome, because you have to be not just skillfully trained, but you have to be able to take care of children, special needs, and otherwise. You've got to have a great, loving heart, personality, and know that it's your calling. So I know you get that honestly, but is there a point where you were like, oh, I think I want to deal with children?
No, I've always loved baby dolls. So I think we always joke about it being genetic because we call my Dan the baby whisperer. And he was always like the best of babies. He could get any baby to stop crying. So I think I got that from my mom, from Dan's. I feel like it's kind of genetic, but also working in like the nursery at our church. I just loved being around little kids. I think they're funny. I just love how they're like little sponges and they soak up everything. They're so impressionable. So I think it's just cool to see how we all grow and change.
That's awesome. Now, outside of those accomplishments, and obviously the number one is you haven't compromised yourself. You know who you want to be. You know the Lord wants you to be, and that was difficult when I was in school, baby. Now I can't even imagine. You know, but through all things we can do things through Christ Jesus, right?
Yeah.
But what if you thought of anything else that you're really proud of? Maybe more of from a business point of view or from quote unquote success point of view. Is there anything that comes to mind? Because you're just finishing did you just finish your first? No, you didn't finish your first semester, but you're close of your senior year.
Yeah.
So you got about one more semester to go after this one.
Yeah.
What thoughts come to mind? You just had your last home game.
Yeah.
The senior game was recognized before that.
Mm-hmm.
You were blessed to be voted by all your classmates to be homecoming queen. And I know I enjoyed seeing all those little girls come up to you, and you took time with every little one of them. But what comes to mind? Anything else that you want to share?
My high school has a clinical program, and you can get your CNA license there. And clinicals are super hard. It's in a nursing home, and it's not so much like physically demanding, but it's just kind of mentally draining because you see elderly residents. They stay there and like they don't get up. It's just sun up, sun down. They're in their bed, and they're allowing us to take care of them. So I definitely think that was hard. I'm just proud of myself and my classmates for getting through that and helping the residents and hopefully making them happy and bringing them joy.
That's awesome, baby. That's awesome. Well, listen, Lucy Riddick, I am so glad she's here today. And again, she's an amazing young lady. We got to talk about some of the early days. We talked about your schooling and where you're going and the fact that you've already got your CNA.
Yeah.
Is that right? That's awesome. And again, it takes a special calling. When we come back, we're going to talk about how she's gotten through adversity, what she leans on, and who she's going to have that coffee with. We'll talk to you in a few. Hey, folks. I just want to take a moment and thank you for looking at our podcast. I hope you're enjoying it. We truly have enjoyed putting it together for you. And I want to take just a moment to talk about the Lauren Riddick team, Homes and Loans. My mortgage practice has been going around for over 25 years at the time that we're putting this together. And I'm so proud of that. We've been able to help clients and referral partners all over the country. Texas, California, Colorado, Washington State, Florida, everywhere in between. And of course, our beloved home here in the East Tennessee Smoky Mountains area. I love helping our clients. Whether it's a home or a loan, we'd love to help you. Now, my mortgage practice specializes in traditional forward lending, whether you need VA, FHA, rural development, conventional, we absolutely can help you. But I want to take a moment to talk about something near and dear to my heart, the often misunderstood, wildly popular home equity conversion mortgage, reverse mortgage. Now that's available for folks that are 62 years or better, for yourself or someone that you know that you care about that needs to know about this amazing program. Whether you want to use it as a leverage point to give warm-handed gifts instead of cold-handed gifts, live more independently and make sure that you're not burdening your family, or just put together a line of access that you can use for down the road that has unbelievable benefits. Love to share with you more about this amazing program. And just in short, how cool would it be to have an optional payment that did not have to get paid back until up to 1 year after you pass away or up to 150 years of age? It'd be pretty cool. Therefore, letting the house owe the debt and not you. It's been over 1 million facilitated since Ronald Reagan got behind in the late 80s, including my beloved parents, Jim and Edna Riddick. Hey, if you want to know more, go to reversewisdom.com. That's reversewisdom.com. There's a lot of good information. Or just reach out. We'd love to share more about this amazing program or some of our more traditional mortgage products, or of course, real estate as well through my lovely wife, Missy. All right, we are back with our final session with Miss Lucy Harper Riddick. Is it getting old me telling you I love you?
No.
You know, something that comes to mind, we had a, I don't know if anybody would ever see this, but as Lucy mentioned, you know, we've been a great team, her wife, her mom and I, over 30 years. And I do believe that it's man's responsibility to get out and lead the charge. If there's a bump in the night, get out there and handle it. And if it works out, for the most part, to be the primary breadwinner so that mom can stay home and take care of home, you know, and there's a whole lot that goes with that. But one of those times is I had to miss your birthday.
Yeah.
And I had to go to Las Vegas on a business trip. And I was in a room of probably close to 500 to 1,000. And the business at the time was the 90210 IZIG business. And basically it was an amazing text messaging business. Ended up not getting where I thought it would go, but it was a great experience. But anyway, we had this thing, it was like, let's see, IZIG, yes, or something. And I had Lucy, you were probably 5,
Yeah.
and curly hair, and I got her doing her thing, and I had won an award, and I was on stage, and they were asking me what motivates me, and I got choked up. And I got to keep it going because I'll get choked up now. But I thought of my daughter. I said, well, I'm here because of my daughter, but I hate it because I'm missing her birthday. And I was able to play the video of Lucy doing her Isaac chant in front of, 1,000 businessmen, and half of them are crying, and you're on life size, 20 foot tall, big projections, and so. But Lucy, I'll just say this, baby. This is for you. I just want to celebrate you and have you come in, but I am a way better man because of you. I can tell every man that has a daughter, if you look in the mirror and you know that if your daughter can find someone that's as good or better than you, she did really, really good, that's a heck of a benchmark. And I'm proud and hope that you feel the same about your daddy. But you've made me such a better man, a better husband, better member of the community, just a better human being, looking at the eyes that way. So I appreciate you and I love you. So this part, Lucy, is about giving back, and our family knows all about that. And this is not about me, it's not about you, but we have experiences. There's people out there, this, even though you're so young, this will outlive all of us. This is the video, right? And so my hope is that even generations from now, somebody may come across this and go, man, this is a cool series. I learned some good stuff. That's what it's about, right? Help enough people get what they want. God will work it out. But you've had some adversity. It hasn't been easy. I can just say, without hesitation, you kind of touched on it earlier. Even if you are daddy's age, 56 at the time of this recording, to stand your own ground and be your own person and not follow the crowd is difficult.
Yeah. To
do that at 17 years old and younger, man, that's almost impossible. I know why you're able to do that. And I know that just the girls in my class in 1987, William Blunt, hard to believe it, man, 2 more years is 40 years, just about it, For those young ladies that chose to keep themselves for their husband and do the things they want to do and follow God, that was difficult. I can't imagine this day. So I know that, whether it's fair weather friends, whether it's you want to do better. I know one thing, you had anxiety about the ACT test. I remember that was a big deal for you.
Yeah.
And you buckled down, you just determined, like that little girl that would have probably left house if you knew where to the road, which way to go. But you've had adversity. So what do you call on that helps you get through that? That somebody else may learn from it?
Well, obviously, like I said before, I talked to God about those kinds of things, but I've had a lot of times, in high school, whether it be assignments or just a time in my life where I'm anxious or nervous or anything like that. I just had the mindset of yeah, this is a lot. I don't know how I'm gonna get through this, and I'm nervous about X, Y, and Z. But just having the mindset that no matter what, it's gonna get done. You've done all this before, it's gonna get done, and just not getting swallowed up by the process and how everything's gonna take. Just know this is your end goal. The kind of person you are. You're gonna stick with it, and just keeping that in my head.
Now, what does fear stand for?
False evidence appearing real.
Right?
Yeah.
Something that just came to me, and we kind of touched on it. The COVID stuff was, I can't imagine. I mean, obviously, I think I would much rather, I feel really, really bad for those kids that were seniors.
Yeah.
They didn't even have a senior class.
Yeah.
They didn't have a graduation. They didn't have, I know that my guys at ETSU qualified for the March Madness and they canceled the whole tournament.
Yeah.
Can never get that back. And so I'm not saying it happened at a good time. I wish it would have never happened in anybody's lifetime. That awful stuff took the life of one of my dear friends, Roger McGee. But anything that you pull out of that I was just horrible, but is there a positive that you pull out of that experience?
Let's see. During that time I started taking my health more seriously, and like I said before, I wasn't super active before. And I would kind of just be the kid that would sit inside and watch movies and not worry about going to the gym or eating right. And so that was a time where I didn't have much to do, and not much was open but the grocery stores. So I started cooking and eating right to the best I could. And then I'd find little workouts on YouTube. So that was definitely a time where I could get my body in line. And I just think rest is good. Not being lazy, but just to take time where things aren't as busy and you're kind of forced to slow down. I feel that's a good reset sometimes. So I definitely
now that you mention that, Lou, I would have to say, taking the fact that I'm your father aside, and I've had relationships with hundreds, if not thousands, of people from different walks of life, different things. I don't know, and I mentioned this earlier today. David Landis was in earlier, Uncle David.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and I said this to him, but your ability to balance what you just said, health, taking care of yourself, excellent cook, by the way, guys. When did you make that first cake? That one, I don't have a picture of it, but
maybe 14.
Yeah, you all would not believe it. I mean, it was it could have been in a showcase glass case at any cake shop, and it's pretty dang good. right? She's an excellent cook. Very, it's like I'm trying to like find your husband or something. You know, she's beautiful, you know, God. But no, I know you're going to find the right fellow there. If you haven't already, shout out to Parker. But I would say that your balance, right, of being a good friend, being a almost, you know, knock on wood, 4-time state cheerleading champion, All-American cheerleader. Already got your CNA, and I think you did really well with the Williams Academy. You might want to say something about that academy. I think that would be good. Give Mr. Williams some props.
They definitely helped me develop into a person.
What is the academy? Tell them so I know.
They focus on putting us in like real world situations. So like they'll host networking meetings for all of us. They'll bring in speakers and encourage us to watch like the news and like stations that will actually help us gain awareness of the world. And it's just really helpful to figure out how to operate in the world. And like they'll bring like different people in to talk about careers. And ultimately, they just teach us how to like conduct ourselves, like etiquette. When we go to like banquets, when we meet people, like how to make those connections, how to hold those connections, how to follow up, and it's definitely helped me, help my confidence. We have to write 4 essays a year, and every single one to go and present in front of like the class and the teacher that comes in and help us write, and that's tough. I don't like talking in front of people. It makes me a little bit nervous, but it's definitely helped me come out of my comfort zone and be more comfortable. So whenever I do have to do that when I get older, or in college, or whatever it might be, talking to other people, I do better at that. But I'm not as in my shell or nervous, and I can hold a conversation. Yeah.
Well, you did an awesome job with that, baby. And when you have, and if I'm not mistaken, you won when we went to the last banquet. You were actually doing something, and I think I went up to accept the reward for you. Was that the GPA, highest GPA? What was that?
4.2.
4.2? You slacker. 4.2. I think your daddy had about a 1.99 or something. Well, man, this has been awesome. I think anything else that you want to share that helps you push through it? Anything that you say to yourself? Anything else that or anything else that you just feel like you want to say to anybody out in the world, a young lady that, you know, maybe needs to figure out what's going on in her life, any of that?
Gosh. Mama used to always tell me that sugar will get you farther than poop. And just to always be nice to people. And, yeah.
All right. What about coffee? Who would you have coffee with?
Oh. I feel like the pretty generic answer is Jesus, but I want to say Jesus just because he knows everybody. Like the people that come before, like after me, people that were born before. So I feel like if I had any questions, I could just ask him about those things.
Hey, how was that so and so, and how was it?
Yeah, and
I love you.
Love you too.
Forever. Lucy Harper Riddick, and do you have any way they can follow you and for your business stuff that you want to share?
Yes. My phone number is 865-257-4663, and you can follow Lucy Harper on Facebook.
All right, Lucy Harper. I love you. Thank you, Miss Riddick. Mwah. Love you.
Love you too.